was to make it so that when you click here, the note shows up here. Now, these two components don't know anything about each other. They're siblings. The list doesn't know about the form and vice versa, and we're not going to make it so that they talk directly to each other. Instead, we're going to have to make them both do something at a higher level component, right? Like main or app. Who did this part again? Okay, Evan, what'd you do?
Selecting it.
Yeah.
I had a on click in the notes.js,
Okay, so on click here, right? On the note.
which called a function I called note selected, and went all the way back up to app.
Okay, so there's a function up in app to set the currently selected note, and he had to pass that down as a prop all the way to this note component. Okay, and then what?
And I had in that function I set the state to the current node.
Okay,
I added to the state.
okay, so the state up at the app level needs a new object to keep track of what the currently selected node is. Let's see if we can get that far. And do you see why that would work? Then we could pass that down as a prop to note form. So let's see about that. So we need something new in state, like the current node or the current node ID. Anybody do it? Just store the ID instead of the note? Anybody do that? Several people did that in the morning. Whoops. Cheaper than the battery. Well, I'm going to do it that way because we started to do that way in the morning. And as much fun as it was to do Jeffervescence in the morning, Dinoplasty in the afternoon, we're going to try to stick to roughly the same implementation here. So I'll just store current node ID, and I will initialize it as null. Is that going to get synced with Firebase? Is the UID getting synced with Firebase? Firebase only has our notes, right? Because when we set up sync state, we told it this endpoint and only this item out of state. So the other things we put in state are not getting synced to Firebase. We could sync them separately if we wanted to. But no, this isn't going to get synced. Doesn't need to. All right, so now we need something that's going to select that note. So I'll put it at the bottom, I guess. Set current note ID. And that should probably receive an ID or a note ID as its argument. And it should do something like this dot set state current node ID or selected node ID is fine to node ID. So now that works, we hope. It's just a matter of calling it at the right time. So set current node ID. And that's going to have to go down to main, right, to get to the list. So hey, I'll just add it to actions. Set current node ID is this dot set current node ID. And that will just pass it on to main because of the spread right here. So in main, we need to pass it down to the list, note list, which is already receiving notes. Now it needs to receive set current node ID to props dot set current node ID. And in note list, that needs to go all the way down to this note, right? Mhm. So we've got notes being extracted from the props that are passed in. We also need set current node ID. And we need to pass that down. Finally, in Node.js, don't forget to list that up here when we're destructuring our props. And did you guys use onClick? What'd you put it on? What element did you put the onClick on? The LI. Did anyone try that and have it not work? Okay. So, yeah, that's not 100% reliable. So I'm going to wrap the whole thing in a link. And you were sort of doing this when you said you did it. Maybe that's what's wrong. I don't know. Okay. Gotcha. Okay. So onClick should just call set current node ID, except we need to pass in the node ID, right? So let's set onClick to an arrow function that calls set current node ID and gives us a chance to actually pass in an argument. So we have the note, right? Note.title, note.body, note.id. Let's see if we did that successfully. Passing a prop way down. Let's open up our dev tools. They are our friends. We see current node ID is null. Let's click on one. And now it is less null. Click again. Hey, it's a different not null. Sweet. All right, so now we're doing the right thing from the list. Now we just have to do the right thing in the form. Set current note when upon clicking a note in the list. They're really two separate tasks. Getting the note component to do what we want, and then getting the note form component to do what we want. They don't know about each other. However, the current note ID gets set, we want the note form to take it from there. However that happens.